When Taylor Swift unveiled the track list for The Life of a Showgirl, fans instantly began decoding hidden meanings.
So Canceled is about Blake Lively, right? That's what that song is about. I'ma stick beside the ones that stuck beside me, whether they cancel or not. She said, good thing I like my friends canceled, cloaked in Gucci and scandal.
I think this song is about Blake Lively 1000%. At the end of the song, she says, good thing you know who your friends are, or you know who we are. She's definitely got to be talking about Blake.
Canceled is for sure about Blake Lively, and you cannot convince me otherwise. First and foremost, we all kind of thought that Canceled was about how Taylor Swift stepped back from the friendship with Blake Lively. But it's actually giving the complete opposite, and the song is basically saying that she hasn't abandoned her friendship with her and that they're good.
Taylor Swift's song Canceled about Blake Lively, Brittany Mahomes, or Sophie Turner. Here's what Taylor Swift has said about the song so far. Taylor Swift's new song contains a line, good thing I like my friends canceled, I like them cloaked in Gucci and in scandal. Explaining the song, Taylor Swift said because she's had her own experience with being canceled, anytime people get backlash, she tends to be the person that they reach out to. I just judge people based on who I know them to be and their actions, not some kind of general consensus. I'm just not doing that. A lot of people speculating that this song is about Blake Lively. It was recorded in 2024 during the Eras tour before the whole Justin Baldoni thing, so that's a little iffy. But the timeline would line up much more closely with Sophie Turner and Brittany Mahomes. But fans also noticed, if you look at this promo photo, this bracelet that Taylor is wearing appears to be a custom Lorraine Schwartz bracelet worn by Blake Lively to the premiere of It Ends With Us. And because everything that Taylor does is very intentional, it's possible that she's trying to say that this song applies to Blake Lively too. I'm curious, who do you guys think the song is about?
At first glance, Ruin the Friendship seemed like the obvious nod to her rumored split with Blake Lively. But the emotional grenade wasn't that song, it was Canceled. Now that the album's out, it's becoming clear that Canceled digs into the complexities of Swift's friendship with Lively in a way no one expected. Still, it doesn't read as a vengeful diss track. If anything, it feels like a complicated confession, one written from affection, disappointment, and maybe a quiet sort of forgiveness. When Showgirl dropped, Ruin the Friendship grabbed all the headlines, fans were ready for a lyrical takedown. But once listeners hit play, it turned out to be one of the album's softest, most melancholy moments. The real intrigue hid elsewhere. Canceled, with its sharp title and cryptic tone, feels like the emotional center of the record. Many diehard fans now believe this is where Taylor quietly processes her strained bond with Blake Lively. The clues aren't buried too deep. Timelines, lyrical parallels, and a trail of coincidence that's hard to ignore. Still, this isn't your classic Swift revenge anthem. Reddit sleuths have noted that Taylor began writing Showgirl during the Eras tour well before Lively's legal dispute with Justin Baldoni hit the tabloids. Instead, this was the era when Blake herself faced a wave of criticism on the It Ends With Us press tour. That overlap hints that Canceled may not be about betrayal at all, but rather about watching a close friend's reputation unravel from the sidelines. For years, Taylor Swift and Blake Lively were the definition of celebrity best friends. Their bond ran so deep that Taylor famously immortalized the names of Lively's children with Ryan Reynolds in her lyrics, a gesture that only reinforced how tightly their lives were intertwined. Blake was a fixture at Eras tour shows and even popped up cheering from the stands when Taylor began dating Travis Kelce. But somewhere along the way, that golden friendship began to crack. Reports suggest tension first flared during Lively's legal battle with her It Ends With Us co-star and director Justin Baldoni. Leaked text messages surfaced that painted an awkward picture. Blake allegedly joked about using her dragon, a nickname for Swift, to intimidate Baldoni. Things spiraled when Baldoni's legal team accused Lively of threatening to expose years of private messages between her and Taylor unless Swift publicly backed her in court, an accusation Lively's lawyer swiftly denied as categorically false. The drama escalated when Baldoni's side tried to subpoena Swift herself, pulling her name into a storm she clearly had no interest in joining. Her team quickly shut it down with a pointed statement. Taylor Swift never set foot on the set of this movie. She didn't even see It Ends With Us until weeks after its public release. It wasn't surprising. Taylor has always avoided being drawn into other people's conflicts. Especially after she faced backlash during the 2024 election for delaying her endorsement of Kamala Harris, she had little reason to wade into another controversy. By the end of 2024, the silence between them was unmistakable. Lively skipped congratulating Taylor and Kelsey on their engagement, and Taylor, in turn, ignored Blake's birthday tribute the very next day. On Cancelled, Swift's pen feels sharper than usual, but not cruel. When she sings, "At least you know exactly who your friends are. They're the ones with matching scars." It doesn't sound like a jab, it's a weary sigh from someone who's learned how easily loyalty can blur with pain. The line feels more like two women comparing bruises than one aiming to wound the other. The song's timeline offers even more context. Devoted fans have pointed out that Taylor wrote much of the life of a showgirl before the supposed rift reached its peak back when Lively was under fire during the It Ends With Us press tour, not during the later legal drama. That means Cancelled likely isn't a post-Fallout reaction, it's a snapshot of sympathy caught mid-storm. Swift threads her own experiences through the verses too. When she reflects, "They stood by me before my exoneration, so I'm not here for judgment." She nods to the long public history of her own humiliation and redemption, from being mocked as boy crazy to enduring the Kanye Kim scandal and the snake memes that turned her into a cultural villain. The lyric sounds like a quiet handshake between two women who know what it means to survive being misunderstood. Still, Swift doesn't let her subject off the hook entirely. "If you can't be good, then just be better at it. Everyone's got bodies in the attic, or took somebody's man," she warns, her tone laced with irony. Yet she ends on a surprisingly tender note. "I'll take you by the hand, and soon you'll learn the art of never getting caught." It's not venom. It's mentorship, a wink between survivors who've learned how to walk Hollywood's tightrope without losing balance. In the end, Cancelled doesn't play like an attack. It feels more like a confession dressed as a pop song. It's a letter written in code, one that acknowledges the bruises left behind without reopening the wound. Swift isn't settling scores here. She's sketching the outline of a friendship that once sparkled, then dimmed under the glare of fame, misunderstanding, and too much public attention. Rather than a feud anthem, the song reads like a study in dual survival. Two women who've each known what it's like to be adored, dissected, and blamed in the same breath. In that way, Cancelled isn't about betrayal at all. It's about endurance. It's about how even when a friendship collapses under pressure, the empathy at its core can still echo through the music. That's what makes the song so haunting. Swift doesn't choose a side, not fully. Instead, she lingers in the gray space between loyalty and distance, love and self-protection. The lyrics don't scream, they ache. It's the sound of someone who still cares, even if she's no longer sure she should. And in a world that constantly demands winners and villains, choosing to leave a relationship undefined might be the bravest and most heartbreaking choice of all. If Cancelled proves anything, it's that not all broken friendships end with war. Some end with silence, some with a song. And in Taylor Swift's world, music isn't revenge, it's remembrance. A way to say, "I can't stand beside you anymore, but I won't pretend what we had didn't matter." And that might be the most honest line she never wrote.